Hello all and welcome, and I'm the MGTOW philosopher. And in this video, I would like to talk about your negative comments. That's right. Once a week, I go through all the comments from the previous week and pick out my favorite ones, and then I do a video on it. This week, I got some good ones, and it's totally unscripted, just me being myself. Of course, I'm myself the rest of the time, but, you know, this is much more casual and loose. So let's start with comment number 1. And as I said, most of these are negative because the negative ones are so much fun. All right, number 1 from a Richard Harrington. You MGTOW philosopher are a total fucking asshole. What gives you the right to put this girl down in every way you can think of and laugh about it? At least she's not afraid to show her face on a video, which you evidently are afraid of. I guess you think every woman out there should be born a perfect 10. I think this has to do with my video series on the unicorn, videos I had to remove for fear of them being deleted by YouTube. Well, life isn't like that, dickhead. Okay? Please enlighten me. Personally, this woman did not turn me off, but your attitude toward her certainly did. After 5 minutes of listening to your sarcastic comments, laughter, and smart-ass bullshit, oh, thank you. I'm glad you think I'm smart. Toward this woman, I simply turned your piece of shit ass off. What a disgusting little man you are. Of course, YouTube in no way has censored this guy or in any way went after him for these negative comments attacking me. Of course, they did remove my first video in this series because it was in some way attacking someone, but that was a woman, by the way, and someone who had a vagina. But of course, if you have a cock, you're going to be attacked and have your shit removed. But if you're being attacked and you have a cock, well, nobody's going to act against the person attacking you. Of course not. I definitely gave you a thumbs down. Well, so what? You know, 95% gave me a thumbs up, so I'm not real concerned about you. Next comment from a Vic Capella. And the video, Women Deserve Respect. Worship them. Actually, there's 3 comments in a row. He just quick shot them out. You need to be bitch slapped and tied to a basement floor and fed dog food for 5 years, and then maybe you'd have some empathy. Is that what you did to your wife? As it is, you're a mess. A typical male chauvinist pig. Okay, so I'm a really horrible person, but you like bitch slapping men and tying them to basement floors for 5 years, or at least you're okay with the idea of that. I see. Next comment from Vic. Actually, you're the simp, and so is this guy who made this video. I know all about men. You're a filth. But you're a guy? But you know all about men? That's not something a man would say, okay? That's something a woman would say. So this seems like a woman pretending to be a man to me. Next comment. I'm not a girl. I'm a man who does not believe in manly values. Okay, Vic, so you're a man that doesn't believe in being a man. I think men are stupid, vicious animals. I don't agree with feminism. It sure sounds like you do. But I certainly am not going to support idiot men. So who do you support? Nobody? Okay, so I think we see his level of intelligence. Next comment from What Women Think is a Good Man. So what's the plan here, MGTOW folks? You're going to just play video games all day? Yeah, that sounds about right. Go to the gym with the bros? Sure, why not? And swear off women? I don't swear off women. This is a common misconception that MGTOW guys swear off women. No, we just bang them. I love women. Women are great, man. Women are great. It's just actually being in a relationship with them long-term and marrying them and having kids with them, living with them, that I have a problem with. I have a problem with putting myself into a position where they can take all my shit. That's all. But I'll happily bang them, and guess what? They're happy for me to bang them. You're going to go gay or what? I felt clearly you're projecting there. Maybe you have some insecurity issues. Maybe you're in the closet homo. Who knows? Next comment. Jorn Vershkor. On universal basic income. Yeah, I can't believe this video is still getting comments. And it's actually getting comments from people who are in favor of everyone getting a basic income. Oy vey. Robots will provide. Well, that's the idea of the universal basic income. Really? Really? Robots will provide, huh? Okay, so you'll foresee a day when robots are out in the field, actively plowing, actively planting, And they're going to make the fertilizer too that fertilizes those fields. And what about when that food is grown? Who's gonna bake it? Who's gonna cook it? Who's gonna prepare it? Who's gonna package it? Huh? I mean, you really think robots are gonna take over all these jobs? Really? And you think that men are just gonna be like Jabba the Hutt's laying there, sucking up all this free food that they didn't have any hand in creating? I mean, how productive a society do you expect to have where people essentially don't have to do anything at all? I mean, you really believe that Star Trek bullshit? You know how Star Trek essentially in the 24th century got all these people sitting around and they're all working, not because they have to, because they have fucking replicators that will supply everything for them. Yep, boop, Twinkie, boop, steak, boop, ham and eggs. Hey, you just push a button and everything's provided. Energy becomes matter and vice versa, and you don't have to do anything. But people are still working regardless. Yeah, that's reality. Yeah, right. That's bullshit. That's not reality. Wake up, Jorn. Next comment from Mr. Fishfinger. What? Okay. Yeah, some of you got some interesting names. Very true. You never hear anyone say to women, woman up, or be a woman, or you're supposed to be a woman. We definitely need to turn all this bullshit back around on women. Oh, it's a positive comment. Oh, okay, this is one that snuck in there. There's one positive comment. Yeah. I tried to make them all negative, but it's very difficult. I have to search for a long time to find these negative comments, believe it or not. Most of your comments are overwhelmingly positive. Yeah, why aren't women being told to woman up? Right? I mean, oh, you're not married yet? Man up. What about women? And by the way, what are women losing when they get married? Men are losing a ton of shit. They're risking tons of shit, but women ain't. Huh? But they're getting divorced a lot. They initiate 80-90% of the divorces in reality. That's not womaning up. That's not womaning up and owning your responsibilities. Hey, give me a break with this man up bullshit. Next comment from Erica Hernandez. Ah, woman. In my video, do men hit their own wall? Yes and no. Not true. I don't care about my man's money. I make my own money. If he gets fat or ugly or bald, I'm gone. Yeah, that's why you're gone. Because you make your own money. Okay? That's the problem. If you didn't make so much money, you wouldn't be able to be so picky and be such a cunt and just up and leave whenever you want, or whenever things, oh, you don't like it, you feel comfortable. Okay, yeah, you're essentially the man in the relationship. Well, we don't want to be with a man. This is not the case, though, because we take care of ourselves. That's not been what I've seen in most American women. George Clooney's not even hot. I don't get how he pulls these bimbos. Well, apparently the bimbos don't agree with you, but I'm guessing you're not that hot either, so that's why you don't see it. Well, I'm sure your self-esteem is great, by the way. Most fat, ugly chicks have wonderful self-esteem. Next, from Sweet Truth. Well, we'll see if your truth is sweet or true. On my video, traditionalism is bad for men. I respectfully disagree. That's how a society works. People support each other. No, people support themselves. I'm not a socialist. It's not my job to support you, you leftist scumbag. Because otherwise it would perish. No, because society doesn't exist. It's just a lot of individuals. You want to replace the word society with collectivism. You want them to be synonymous. We are not a collective. We are not Borg. Shut the fuck up with that bullshit. There is no better system that comes to mind where one can live and bond together with a woman potentially for decades in their marriage. Really? Well, you might have that right. As far as being with a woman for decades, yeah, who the hell wants that anyway? And by the way, you don't have to be married for that. Where the man brings the meat to the table. No, women want to be just like men. Now you have two men bringing the meat to the table. He's not the provider. She's the provider as well. Roughly speaking, and has that responsibility. The woman takes care of the household. But that's not reality at all. You're a trad con. You're a traditional conservative. You're also a socialist. How nice. What a very odd combination. Where hopefully both of them do their best. I think you're just ignorant. I think you're ignorant of the facts. And if you knew more about reality and how it works, you wouldn't be both a traditional conservative who embraces socialist ideology. Both of them do their best to be a good example to other families. Yeah, other families. Families are not such a great example these days, pal. The average American marriage lasts 8.7 years. That's not so impressive to me. The importance of the offspring's upbringing is critical for the health of society. Yeah, and yet 93.4 of all first marriages end within the first 10 years. 70% of black women are 70% of black children are being raised by single mothers, and 40% of white kids are being raised by single mothers. And a lot of these people started off married and then got divorced. So there goes your wonderful familial example. Like now, the consequences are shown for those whom are not afraid to unshut their eyes. I think your eyes are shut. In such a case, children are not going to grow up as bastard bitches from single mothers. A lot of them grow up with mothers that are married and then she leaves the husband, okay? Nor whatever the inadequate opposite is from single fathers. Actually, most fathers are responsible and pay their child support, which they shouldn't have to pay if the woman kept her legs closed and stayed with the man forever. But of course, there's no incentive for her to do so because she can just go out, get her own job, make her own money, essentially be this liberated being that doesn't have to in any way, shape, or form adhere to her gender role, traditional gender roles, but a man is still required to adhere to his. Get the fuck out of here. One has to be like a slave no matter which percentage he is in. Nope. I have chosen freedom. Whether to himself. How you a slave to yourself, you idiot? Being a slave essentially means you serve other people, not yourself, you dummy. Which is just desires and spontaneous whims. That's not slavery, you moron. I love how these leftist idiots, he's pretending to be a trad con. He's a trad con in disguise. Yeah, leftist moron trying to parade around as a traditional conservative. But your communist views seep through. You're not I mean, whenever you see somebody trying to change the meaning of language, you know you're talking to a leftist. You're not a slave to yourself, you idiot. You can only be a slave to other people. One simply can't, or you could metaphorically be a slave to something like your, say, addictions, or like I'm a slave to ice cream because I love to eat ice cream, addicted to it or something. But metaphorically speaking, we're not talking actually, literally. And that's a slavery you can escape, by the way, by just choosing not to have the ice cream. But if you don't have a choice, well, there you go. In which case, okay, let's see where I left off. One simply can't escape it unless he has a bloated and disgustingly exaggerated ego. What? This guy's making no sense. One simply can't... okay, so he... horrible. You can't write, man. I'm going to the next paragraph. Like the sun and the moon, we both sexes are... Why is it that so many of you can't... The education system is going way downhill. So many of you can't fucking write. Like the sun and the moon, we both sexes are... I'm going to read it as it should be, not as it is. Otherwise, it'll make no sense to you. Like the sun and the moon, we have both sexes, and neither of them should abandon each other. Really? Why not? Give me a reason. Oh, no reason. Okay. But instead do their best to get along, at least for the sake of upcoming generations. Nah, I pass. If no higher goal is present, the higher goal is to take care of myself and live for me. And this is why reasonable selfishness is good. Right now, we agree on something, except what you're talking about is not reasonable selfishness. You just popped that word in there to try and sound like some kind of MGTOW dude or to associate yourself with MGTOW beliefs. But you're not anyway. You're a leftist, so you don't believe in selflessness, okay? Everything you've said is very, is in no way. Oh, wait. Everything you've said is, reasonable selflessness. Yeah, you do believe in selflessness. For a second, I mistook his words for selfish. Excuse me. I don't know what the hell is going on in my head. I thought he said reasonable selfishness. Well, with you people, selfishness can't be a good thing. I don't believe in selflessness. Get the fuck out of here. You want selfless? Fuck off. Selfless is just people who want my shit and want me to give you my shit, okay? Is there a system which is better and more modest and un-animal-like? What? Than the family? Okay. Animals have families. I don't know what the fuck he's talking about. I got to move on. This comment's taking too long, and this guy is totally ineligible. Illegible, excuse me. I can't read a fucking thing he's saying. And he's making so many mistakes, he's getting me confused in my language. Next comment from someone named Gray Matter. He says, MGTOW are poofters. That's the video. Some of the so-called MGTOWs are going too far. I understand you go your own way, but a lot of you MGTOWs who put content on YouTube are freaking frustrated. No, not really. Frustrated sexually, you mean? No, because I still bang chicks. Why would you always talk about women if you go your own way? Because we're trying to grow our ranks. We're trying to add to people in MGTOW, and the only way to do that is to educate them on the foibles of women and that they're dangerous to get with. So we have to educate them on those things. Do you understand that, meathead? It's because you are frustrated. Well, no, I just explained why. So you're mistaken. Frustrated freaks. Oh, we're freaks now because we don't want to have half our shit taken. I see. I am a MGTOW. No, you're not. Fuck off, you're not. But have nothing to do with you. You're not a MGTOW, pussy boy. I'm unsubscribing from your freaking channels. Good. Go ahead, unsubscribe. Go open your own fucking channel. See how many people subscribe. Because you're making fool of yourselves with this attitude. Okay, the numbers seem to disagree with you. You talk about women like somebody who is missing them a lot. No. But they don't get any attention from them. Missing them? I use them for what they're good for, and that's it. What are you talking about? Living with them? Have you talked to a woman? They have nothing interesting to say. And when they think they have something interesting to say, it's not interesting. They think it's interesting because they're fucking stupid. They don't know what they're talking about. They have low IQs, and they think they're brilliant because they've had people telling them they're brilliant their whole lives. They're narcissists. Give me a break. We're going our own way, but if we wouldn't... Wait. So you're saying MGTOWs are going too far, but you're a MGTOW. So you're including yourself in that equation? Okay. That's not going your own way. That's kneeling and begging for attention from women. I'm talking to men here about women. If I'm talking to cars, I'm talking to men about cars, does that mean I'm talking to cars? Your logic is some of the dumbest shit I ever seen. You're just good for laugh material, buddy. Gray matter, you ain't. You're missing a lot of gray matter, obviously. Oh, look, we're going our own way, but we wouldn't if you would be nice to us. Why else would we diverge and go? It's not just that, by the way. They take half our shit, which also isn't nice. They steal our kids. Not very nice either. They make us pay them money forever, essentially for past use of a vagina. Yeah, not too nice. I guess if you qualify those things as not nice, you're right. Just go your way and shut up, freaks. And he put the freaks in all caps, of course. All I have to say to this is this. You're a moron. Next, from Ricky R. And my video, Old World Men Understood Women, which they did. So you're saying a wife-beating husband, oh, it's a woman, should control their wives. Are you saying that all old world men were wife-beating husbands? Because show me the evidence for that. That's a very ridiculous statement unless you have evidence. And by the way, there were as many or more old world women that beat their husbands. I don't know you're talking about them. And by the way, just as many or more women today beat their men as men beat their women. In fact, I think it's more going by the statistics because they can get away with it. So I don't know what you're talking about. I admit most women don't know how to make good decisions. Well, thank you. But some women do. You're in the wall. Not all women are like that. Da, 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 da. Not all women are the same. In the very next sentence he says that. I'm psychic. I'm reading your mind, buddy. I actually think it's the sexism toward both men and women that's ruining the world. There is no sexism towards women. What are you talking about? The whole goddamn system has been designed to serve women. They get jobs they can't even do, not even qualified to do. They can go to the military and they got to do like 3 pull-ups. What are you talking about? Sexism toward women, you idiot. What about all the wars men caused? I can't believe that men are buying into this bullshit. How is it men causing wars when women are 54% of the voters? They're the majority of voters. They decide what the government will actually do based on their ability to vote. By the way, there was a multi-century study done of 800 years of female rulers in Europe. And it covered 28 female rulers, and it looked at the amount of violence and wars that happened, and it found that women were on par 17%. I think it was 17 or 27. Fuck, I forget the number. But it was a big jump that women were something like, they were more likely, I said one of my other videos, I forget the number now, but women were more likely to cause wars than men. There were more wars when you had women leaders, and they lasted longer. So fuck you and your lies, your propaganda that men cause wars. It's retarded nonsense spread by feminists. And by the way, if you looked around at feminists, they're quite violent people because they're all cultural Marxists, and all cultural Marxists are feminists, and all these leftists and Antifa are feminists, and they're the most violent motherfuckers on the planet. But you're going to sit here and tell me that men cause more violence than these simpleton, these emotional, these subjective creatures who flip out over the smallest thing? You are an idiot. But I think women would cause wars too if they ran the world. What the fuck did you just... Why did you just say that men cause the wars and then the next sentence say the women would do the same? You just contradicted yourself. You're a moron. You're not even worth listening to anymore. Next, Laura Whelan. Marriage is bad for men. So it seems you'd rather be married where it's okay to hit women. No. Why don't you live in Saudi Arabia? Because it's an evil empire where they kill gay people and kill you if you don't want to be Muslim. That's why. You should honestly live there if that's the way the world should be. Oh, by the way, I thought that Islam and Muslims were great. We're just exaggerating about how bad they are. Why don't you go live there, Laura? Next, from a Dick Pole. Very interesting name. On my video, Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke, which he does. You're frankly pathetic. I know some women probably hurt you in your life, but get over it. Dick, every man has had his heart torn out by a woman. So what's your point? And by the way, what I'm trying to do is educate men, cucks like you who are blue-pilled that need to wake up, smell the coffee, women rule the world, and idiots like you empower them to do so. And that's why the world is in decline, Dick. Next comment from a Carly Ellison. Why do these women, I mean, they just really love these MGTOW channels, huh? Yeah. I have no compulsion to go to a feminist channel. I really have no interest in doing that whatsoever. But they just love coming to my channel. Good. You're giving me material. Thank you. Racist and sexist. You are like most MGTOW. Most MGTOW are racist and sexist. Really? I guess facts to you are racist and sexist, because I'm all about facts, honey. And you dirty scum are all going down. Ooh, we're going down, huh? We are in charge. You mean women. Listen to this very carefully, man. This is a real average woman, and she's talking. But for all women, and this is the truth, they are in charge. We are in charge. It's our turn now. And they're always envy and jealous of men, yet you're fucking up the world, you dumb bitches. You really think we were somehow entitled and that we had some kind of privilege? Doing the shit we did is hard. You don't do what we did. You do the opposite. You don't do anything. You're just fucking lazy. You just complain and then say, change the law to benefit me, because if you don't, I won't vote for you. That's all you do. You can't live in reality or adapt to reality. You're in charge. Yeah, unfortunately. That will change. Trust me. Nature seeks balance. Your ass is going to be booted out real soon, honey. Next comment, Russ Noel. My video, Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. This is the problem with MGTOW. It attracts all the dregs of society, like this topless faggot. Topless? I'm not topless. What are you talking about? Why did I even put that there? It makes no sense. On to the next comment, okay? Stevie D, from Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Wow, a lot of people really had some negative stuff to say about that. Bill Burr, oh boy, some people like him. Porn is without about the best friend of MGTOW. Oh, it's a positive comment. And here is why. If you take the element out of your life of chasing after, wasting money on, and destroying your life by being with a woman to ejaculate, then you're totally free. He's right. He's right. And all you trad con pussies out there who want to be with women and spend all your time with women and all your money on women, free yourself, because the only reason you're with her is to ejaculate, and you need to do that without her. And, of course, you can also do it by just pumping and dumping. Okay? You can still be MGTOW. Come over to the dark side. Porn is the great equalizer in the modern world. Yeah, and by the way, that's why the modern world, society, and women hate it. And women hate that. Of course they do. It takes away their power. Men rarely make bad decisions after jerking off. That's true. But make plenty of bad decisions before jerking off. That's also true. By the way, I'm much more motivated after watching porn. Pour a drink, find your porn favorite, blow a load, and get a good night's sleep. Well, there you go. It helps you sleep too. It's the perfect activity. Off to the gym in the morning, money saved and invested, always happy and not one cunt fucking with me and being a bitch. I'm proud to jerk off the porn, fuck the modern whore. And by the way, there's lots of good life-size sex dolls out there that you can get for the hundreds of dollars, not to mention replicas of female body parts that don't cost so much. So you don't need a woman. Of course, that pisses them off. They lose the ability to manipulate you with their vaginas. And by the way, countries like Sweden and other European countries are trying to make porn illegal. Imagine that. Some of these countries, and Sweden is probably the most feminist country on earth. Better watch out, guys. She wants to take your porn away. Give women no more power. Take more from them. Dorian Shotwell from Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Wow, that video really got a lot of play. I usually enjoy most MGTOW content, but you sound like a whiny fucking bitch. Maybe you should have picked a better woman. I don't have a woman. I don't want a woman. I've had women. I've been in long-term relationships. I've chosen. See, that's the key thing. It's a choice. You want to think that it's not a choice. You can try and cast me in some kind of bad light where I'm some bitter guy that's been jilted too much. But that's not the case. I left women behind in long-term relationships by choice, okay? I still pump them and dump them, which also goes against your little narrative that I'm some kind of loser who's somehow been jilted by women a lot. And this is a narrative that the left likes to spin about MGTOW guys. It's not true. Not in the grand sense anyway. I think the majority of MGTOW guys, they left women on their own. You make a big assumption when you say that. Can you show me any evidence for that? Oh, you don't know anything about me. You just have my word, and you're making assumptions so you can cast me in a bad light and then cast aspersions on me. Okay, I see. I've been with the same woman for 27 years. Good for you. What's your point? Huh? Every rule has exceptions. So what? I fucked her up a bunch, and she should have left me 100 times. Well, you know. You're unlucky. She should have left you. You'd be happier, probably. But she's fucking awesome. Really? Maybe you just have low self-esteem. I can make assumptions too, pal. And I tell you what, if you ever talked about my wife the way you're talking about his, I'd put your fat, ugly ass in the hospital. That's assuming that you could. You don't know anything about me. I don't think you could put my ugly ass in the hospital because, A, I ain't fat, and B, I'm not ugly, and C, there's no way you could put me in the hospital. But I digress. No women want you. No, my life experience disagrees with that. That's your problem. No, see, this is what I'm talking about. They like to try this shaming, and they like to make these assumptions that you're somehow some kind of loser who can't get women, when actually it's the exact opposite that's true, because they don't want to look at themselves and cast that magnifying glass on themselves. Really, what he's doing here is he's projecting. He really couldn't get any women, and he settled for the one woman that actually would accept him. In his mind, I mean, if this guy had more confidence, he probably could have done better. But he's just a loser himself, and he couldn't get anybody except this fat, ugly bitch, I'm assuming, after 27 years. Good Lord, I doubt she's a stick figure. But this guy's just projecting his own self-loathing onto us MGTOW guys who actually made the decision he wishes he could have and had the life he wishes he could have. That's your problem. You probably suck dong. No. Is that it? I got an awesome daughter, too. I'm thankful people like you are taking yourselves off the market. Oh, I'm not off the market. I'll bang your daughter, too, if she's hot, and believe me, she'd like it. Next comment. Wallage. Bill Burr thinks MGTOW's a joke. So I've heard from Wallage before. Let's see what he has to say. I've been listening to MGTOW videos for over 6 years. You fuckers don't know how to set boundaries. Really? Walking away from women, that's a pretty good boundary. Oh, you mean that we shouldn't have to walk away from women if we just set boundaries for them? Well, you know, it's kind of hard to stop them from, like, you know, taking the bait and you know, taking advantage of the benefits of divorcing a guy. I mean, it's a lot of work to be in a relationship, so if they have two choices, either stay or leave and get half your shit and get free money for life. No boundaries are going to stop her from doing that. The only boundary would be like a fucking padlock that the only one that has a fucking key to, and you got her held in chains in the fucking basement. That's the only boundary that's going to stop her. Otherwise, what boundaries do you think is going to somehow inhibit a woman from taking advantage of the benefits that society and the government give her for leaving a man and taking all his shit? You tell me the boundaries, and you have just found the solution to all of the Western world's problems. That's the sad thing with you leftists. You'd like to use critical theory from the Frankfurt School, where you just criticize, but you have no actual answers to the problems, which is totally useless, except it serves you by essentially trying to discredit by simply repeating these criticisms over and over and over again. And it actually works, unfortunately, because most people are too stupid to see what you're doing. Next comment from Aaron Smythe. Bill Burr thinks MGTOW's a joke. I downvoted this because I don't like the mentally ill moron that made it. Oh, that personality. Something very weird there. Okay. So you're perfectly fine with the video. You just downvoted it because you didn't like my personality. Well, there you go, people. That's the kind of logic and reasonable thinking you can expect from a leftist. Next comment from Goy Modley. I hope I said that right. And my video, should women be allowed to vote? No one should have the right to vote. Okay, I think he's being sarcastic. We should all be lorded over by philosopher kings? Okay, he's being sarcastic. All right, I'll respond in kind. Yes! Yes, we should all be lorded over by philosopher kings because I know that I could do a much better job than the simps and morons in government now. Next comment from O. Pete. My video, Feminism and MGTOW, are they the same? Nope. I don't get it. MGTOW is about men not wanting to be bothered by who? For men going their own way. Why do they talk about women a lot? This comes up a lot because some of you are so dumb. Some of you are so fucking stupid. You don't seem to understand that just because I'm talking like about something, it doesn't mean that I'm like in some way obsessed with or following something. This is the same with like the God argument. Like if I say, oh my God, I'm not an atheist anymore. That's so stupid. That's just a common saying. It's been drilled into our heads. It's like a curse word or an expletive. It doesn't mean I believe in God, all right? This is such a stupid non-logic. This is just so illogical, this argument. Because I'm talking about women, I somehow have not gone my own way. We talk about women on this show, on this channel, and on MGTOW videos to warn other men. If everybody was red-pilled, I wouldn't need to make these videos, and there wouldn't be a problem, you meathead. Next comment from T. Butter, and Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Jeez Louise. A lot of you got a hard on for Bill Burr. MGTOW philosopher, you're retarded. Is that word allowed on YouTube? Can you say retarded? I guess I have. Okay. First, you pretend you never heard of him. Heard of who? Bill Burr? Okay. What are you talking about? Pretend? I never pretend. I didn't pretend I never heard of him. And I never said I never heard of him. I'd heard of him, of course, but only in passing. I didn't really know who the guy was. Just because I heard a name doesn't mean I know who he fucking is. I mean, I heard the name. I know that he appeared on that Breaking Bad thing, but that was pretty much it. I didn't even know he was a comedian until long after that. When there's more Bill Burr clips on MGTOW videos than anywhere else on YouTube. Okay, that's your opinion. I haven't seen a lot of MGTOW videos with Bill Burr on them, but I don't watch a lot of MGTOW videos actually, to be honest. You're making an assumption. And and also, like I said, the MGTOW videos I haven't seen anything on Bill Burr. So I don't know what you're talking about. If they're there, they're old, or they're just not recent, or like I said, I don't watch a lot of MGTOW videos, honestly. Then you act like you barely heard about Breaking Bad. No, I didn't act like that at all, you idiot. I said I had barely heard of him. Oh, I know Breaking Bad. Great show. But you need to clean the wax out of your ears, buddy. You can't hear. When it's one of the most famous shows ever made. Yeah, you're a fucking moron. I never said I never heard of the fucking show. You're an idiot. You might have actually been too autistic to tell he was reading a letter while you get all butthurt about it. No, he was reading a letter and he was making fun of it at the same time. And clearly you didn't catch his sarcastic and cynical comments about the movement and the things he had to say after he read the letter because you're a fucking moron. Shit, I'll give you a thumbs up just for the sheer entertainment of being such a giant faggot cuck. Well, why don't you look in the mirror because you've entertained me, buddy. And that's not enough for you to be a virgin. Really? Okay. Nope, not a virgin for the rest of your life, but anyone who doesn't swear a vow of celibacy with you because they might actually like pussies and not play in circles. Clearly, you haven't listened to my videos. I pump them and I dump them, and that's it. But maybe you're a virgin. With your pals, has to be bashed for it. If you prefer cock, that's your business. I prefer my cock, but that's the only one. But some of us like to fuck girls, buddy. I like to fuck girls too, buddy, and I probably fuck more than you. I'm quite sure I do, in fact, considering how dumb you are. Love the fake laughter, too, poorly. Try to hide that your idol isn't gonna tickle your ass. Great video, A for effort. Well, you are a condescending cocksucker. And by the way, he's not my idol. But anyway, on to the next video because your moronic words are boring. Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Wow. And this is what I'm talking about. Just back to that prior comment for a second. Whenever somebody, this is a really sad guy because the saddest guys, the ones who are like the really most insecure in my experience, are the ones that stoop to these kind of shaming tactics and make these gay jokes and talk about you liking cock more than pussy. And they throw out all this stuff that's really in no way related to what you said just to try and shame you. I've noticed that these kind of comments actually come from guys who are very insecure, who have very little self-confidence, very little experience with women, and they make these kind of insults because they're really projecting what is the truth about themselves. That's what they're doing. And that's what this guy by the name of T. Butter was actually doing in his comment. And I think it's very sad, and I think it's very telling, and I don't think he realizes just how much he's telling us about him when he makes these videos. I mean, when he makes these comments. Next comment from a David Swanson 2 days ago. You see, I'm very secure in my masculinity and in who I am, and I know myself, so I have no need to belittle people in that way, in that personal kind of attacking way. I'll attack your arguments, and if you say something stupid, I'll call you a moron. If you act like a moron, I'll call you a moron, but I don't know anything about you, and I'm certainly not going to attack you personally and make jokes about your dick or your cock or anything else. Man, I don't know anything about you. I'll attack your arguments, generally speaking, and I'll call you stupid and a moron if you talk like one, but that's it. Only people who are insecure about their personality actually make comments like that. So David Swanson has this to say: you guys are pathetic, corrupted, laughable, and losers of the world. Well, there you go. Here's another person that's pretty much insecure about themselves. I feel good knowing you won't be raising kids. Good for you. You figure out what I feel good I won't be raising kids too. It's a big waste of money. That's a lot of money, man. You're on the same level as homosexuals. I don't know about that. Although homosexuals are some of the smartest people in society, statistics have shown. So in that way, okay. But I don't like dudes. Unable to perform the most basic fulfillment of your responsibility to nature. I have a responsibility to nature? Really? What are you talking about? Nature doesn't exist. I have a responsibility to the world. Who is it I owe something to? Who's this sentient being that is alive and awake out there thinking about me and how I owe it something, you boob? Your ideology. I have no ideology when it comes to MGTOW. Stay away from living with women. Don't have kids with them. Don't marry them. Don't give them money. Just fuck them. That's an ideology? It's a pretty small one. Makes you more worthless than the turd I just flushed. Well, I don't think your turd has any ideology or any philosophy or any thoughts or anything. So I think that makes me more valuable than the turd, actually. I don't know about you. At least it will provide food and shelter for another living thing in need. Yeah, dung beetle? I think I am above a dung beetle, too. I'm not sure about you, though. You might think you can afford to raise a family but decide not to, but I seriously doubt you could last a week. Last a week in what? Raising kids? Yeah, it makes you such a bad dude. Yeah, really. Okay, so your claim to fame is you had a family. You're essentially a loser with no talent, no skill, so you just went and had kids to validate yourself. Okay, imagine the poorest surviving family in India. Well, they're poor because they're stupid, they have low IQs, and they make bad decisions. With a father who is still able to perform his duties as a father. Good for him. I applaud him. He has a lot more to gain from walking away from it, but he's better than you, stronger than you, more of a man than you'll ever be. How? I guess it depends on how you define a man. You're clearly defining a man as somebody who mans up and goes and impregnates a woman and has kids. That's the only man out there. And the only reason you're saying that, of course, because you did that, which means you essentially signed up for a bad deal. And now you're trying to validate that bad decision that you made by telling other guys to make the same bad decision and discouraging and insulting anyone who did not, because their position and their decision directly attacks yours, and you're very insecure about your decision and your life and who you are, so you feel the need to lash out. I see. Next, from Bobo's Gonna Get. Yeah. Well, you do know Bobo is a clown name, so we'll see if your comment makes you a clown or not. And the video, Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. MGTOW philosopher. I've never heard of Bill Burr and his comedy is mediocre. 1 minute later, he's never heard of MGTOW before. I find it very hard to believe MGTOW is huge. Laugh out loud. MGTOW in its moronic best. Okay, so you're going to conflate an entire movement with one person who is like a D-list comedian on the same level as Kathy Griffin, who, by the way, I've heard of. So, Bill Burr is not like an A or B or even C level comedian. He is a D level comedian. By the way, some of them got a lot of money. Kathy Griffin's worth $20 million because she's a crazy leftist that says what everybody else in Hollywood wants to hear, so she gets more gigs. But they're both D list. Yeah, they're both D level. So I never said I hadn't heard of Bill Burr. I said I'd heard of him. I wasn't very familiar with his comedy. I didn't know he was big in the MGTOW world. And MGTOW is a big movement, and the reason that one makes no sense and the other doesn't is because Bill Burr's comedy is word for word what most MGTOW guys say, all right? Are you seeing what I'm saying here? While at the same time, MGTOW is a gigantic movement, all right? So MGTOW's a gigantic movement. It says everything Bill Burr does. For him to have never heard of it is a little hard to believe. Now, you're saying that because me as a MGTOW hasn't heard of one single person, that's me being disingenuous. That makes no sense. You're equating a person that's a D-list comedian at best, on par with Joe Rogan, and comparing that to a gigantic movement that is directly related to everything Bill Burr says, yeah, I'm going to say you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. All right, and by the way, I will post a link to a video, well, a smidgen of one of his podcasts where his hideously ugly, man-looking wife is on the podcast with him talking, and you'll see why I know a lot more about this than you might think. I know who his wife is. I've heard her talk on before. I've heard her speak. I know what kind of person she is, and you'll find out too once you listen to this podcast. So you'll find the link in the description of this video. Next, from Snow White, and Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. MGTOW is a joke. Most of the MGTOW men are former married men. Wrong. With kids who allowed women to turn into flaming feminists. Wait, I allowed? You don't allow women to do anything these days. They do whatever the fuck they want, and you try to stop them, they divorce you. You want to try to control a modern-day woman? But she has too many options to be controlled, all right? And she votes, so the government is on her side. So you lose, buddy. Okay, these guys should cheer up, because now that Bill Burr is married with kids, it won't be long before he comes looking to join the MGTOW club. But MGTOW's a joke, right? He shouldn't join it, right? This comment made no sense to me. It had no point. Next, Tara Tokomi. And Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Tara, okay, sounds like a woman's name. You may not like Bill Burr, but I know what MGTOWs are. You are fucking cowards. We are? Really? Okay, thank you. Jeez, I think it takes a lot of balls to walk away from women when the whole of society is trying to force you into marriage. I think it takes more courage to walk away than it does to just do what everybody expects you to do. But I guess that's just a radical idea. Next comment from Trev1183. Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Jeez, most of these comments are from this video. MGTOW is a joke. Bunch of butthurt men children who would blame women. Very, very creative. You're using the same starting sentence as the last person, and you're using the title in your comment. Not too original, pal. Bunch of butthurt children who would rather blame women for being women. No, I don't blame women. You're making a mistake of me pointing out women's faults to blaming them. I don't blame them for their faults. That is what they are. I'm just telling men about those faults so they don't get involved with women in any serious way that could cost them half their shit. You see the difference? Instead of holding the government and themselves accountable for making poor choices and giving women such much power. Okay, so here's your analysis. I should just talk about the corrupt government and society, and I should never address women, because if I'm doing that, I'm attacking women, and it makes me a swiney snowflake victim, but I'm not a victim if I attack the government, and I attack and talk about society and government. But I can't talk about women. Gee, you sound like the snowflake pussy cuck wimp mangina fucker to me, pal, telling me that I can't say anything bad about women. I should only stick to the government because you're afraid of women. I see. The government, through our weakness, basically punked us for our women, and we took it. I'll agree with that. Real men would take their women back and not just go their own way. Take them back. Like club them over the head with a fucking club, a big piece of wood, and then drag them by the hair back to the cave. I foresee kidnapping and rape charges. Bunch of punk half of fags. I can't understand this sentence. Okay, we're a bunch of punks. That's your opinion. You're entitled to it, but I just wrecked you, so you don't know what the hell you're talking about. Next comment, Danielle Roberts. Men owe it to society to get married. This could be a woman, Danielle, or it could be a man, Daniel. Let's see from what this person has to say, which it is. The only real problem that anti-MGTOW have with MGTOW is that belly aching that most MGTOW do. Belly aching. I'm going to try to explain it in words that you can understand, and I'll try to use small words and do it as succinctly as I possibly can to get past the fact that you're not too intelligent. We talk about women to warn other men, just like feminists talk about how evil and dastardly men are. And by the way, they're lying with their bullshit. Their bullshit statistically lies. I talk about statistical truths, so there's a big difference. And we warn men about the realities of how women are and just what their natures are so that men will go their own way and leave women behind. While on the other side, women want to make men their slaves, and so we can continue to pay for them so they can continue to indulge their little game, their little play acting where they try to be men. Big difference, pal. In listening to their videos, I have found that they don't have a problem with a man wanting to not get married. Damn straight. It's just the complaining they can't stand. Well, then you probably shouldn't go to MGTOW channels because that's what they're for, to talk about, not complain, but to talk about the way women are. Victim mentality. Where in one of my videos have I talked about being a victim of a woman? None. What I have talked about is women's nature, how women are, how society benefits women, the way that they take advantage of these benefits and screw over men, and therefore men should avoid them. That's not a victim mentality, you idiot. That's empowering. Get a fucking clue, get a fucking brain, and then come back and talk to me. Next comment, M. Dyer from Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. This just makes me like Bill Burr more, all you MGTOW pussies. I love it. Crying because those nasty women are being mean. Boo-hoo. I got no problem with mean women. It's much easier to stay away from mean women. It's the ones that are passive-aggressive and try to weasel their way in there that I don't like. I need them to man the fuck up. Man the fuck up? What does that mean? And why aren't you out there telling women to women fuck up? To woman up. Why don't they get their asses in the kitchen and bake a fucking cake? Why don't they fucking vacuum a floor? Why don't they marry a man and be real women instead of trying to be men? Why don't you tell women to man up? Why are you talking just to men? So essentially, you want men to stay on the motherfucking plantation and make themselves indentured servants to women, but you're perfectly okay with women walking away from their traditional roles. Oh, that's right. A woman's traditional role was somehow evil and wrong. But our traditional roles are right and valid, so we have to stick with them. And it's okay for women to walk away because, oh, their roles were evil. Yeah, okay, we were really oppressing women by taking care of them and allowing them a leisure time. Yeah, they were so disenfranchised. Yeah, okay. Next comment from Dems Are Dims. I like the name. Men owe it to society to get married. You white MGTOWs are helping the globalists commit the white genocide. Nah, because there's a lot of dumb white people too, and they'll have kids, and those kids will have recessive genes, and then some of those kids will grow up to be intelligent and geniuses. Yeah, sometimes you got two stupid people, and they give birth to a kid, like a mutation or something, you know? So, I mean, you never know. You never know. Be like a Professor X thing. I mean, you get these kids, you say to yourself, oh, well, two stupid people give birth to stupid kids. Not always. You got recessive genes. You never know how the mix is going to come out. And sometimes they give birth to geniuses. Will we have as many? No. But so what? That's life. So what? White people still probably run things because we're still the most creative. So, I mean, it doesn't matter to me. There'll just be less white people. Okay, well, you know. There's so many stupid white people out there that have been indoctrinated, and they don't see the illogic and the non-reason and the things they're believing, and they're really killing themselves. I can't do anything about that, but I'm certainly not going to ruin my life for you. Next, from Aaron Smythe on Men Owe It to Society to Get Married. You are not being shamed. You are feeling shame. Am I? Okay, because of people's response to you. Well, my responses are actually overwhelmingly positive. If you look at all my thumbs up, they're well over 90%. And most of my comments, I have to search a ton just to find a handful of negative comments. So I don't know what you're talking about. But okay, you live in your own little world. You sound like a schizoid dude. Do you know what a schizoid person sounds like? Really? Are you a psychologist, sir? Are you a psychiatrist? Oh, no, you're not. You're just some armchair quarterback who thinks he knows something and you really don't. But I'm schizoid. Maybe you're schizoid. Maybe we're all schizoid. Okay. You sound like you're about to snap. Do I? Maybe you're about to snap. See, I can do this turn everything back against you thing, just like leftists do. It works both ways. Have you got some kind of mental defect that runs in the family? Not that I know of. That whole hysterical laughing thing you do is scary. Oh, I'm sorry. You don't like it that I find idiots like you hilarious. Is that the hysterical laugh you're talking about? What is it that you're trying to convey with that psychotic shrill? Nothing. I'm finding idiots like you funny. Is that the freak you wear when you think people won't agree with you or something? The freak I wear? You're talking about like the proverbial monkey on my back? No. I just laugh because I find things funny. I find it funny that you can't understand that, but that's probably because you're a moron. Next comment. Crossing Ways on Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Dude, I agree. Don't get married. But in this video, you sound like a danceling cunt. I don't know what the fuck that word is. D-A-N-S-E-L-I-N-G. Yeah, you sound so fucking triggered. Do I? Sorry, sometimes I get excited. I'm just so passionate. Aren't you passionate about things that you like? No? Oh, well, I feel sorry for you. Men, even in MGTOW, used to be ass kissers of women. Ass Some, but not all, but that's past tense, and since the past is gone, it's dead, it doesn't exist anymore. It's the present that matters and what you are in the present, and I'm no ass-kisser of women now, so what the fuck does that have to do with anything? That's why they are MGTOW. No. Oh, okay, so, wait, no, that makes no sense. So I'm MGTOW because I used to swim in women's asses. That's my reason for becoming MGTOW. If that was my reason, wouldn't I be continuing to kiss women's asses? That's not a reason for anything. No, I went MGTOW because women have too much power. They take too much of men's shit. They have too much power in society. They disenfranchise men too much. They hate us. They talk down to us. They shame us because we don't want to sign up for bad deals and essentially fund their fantasy of being men while having none of the responsibilities of men. So those are my reasons for going MGTOW, not because I kissed women's asses. You really need to learn how to speak English and communicate properly. Most men have no self-respect. How do you know that? Have you talked to all 3.5 billion of them? You idiot. If Bill Burr sold out, then he said sold old, LLD, but I'm assuming he meant out. Then he would have much in common with men in MGTOW. How is that? I haven't sold out to anybody. Selling out would be getting married, you moron. Even by your own logic. But even so, why do you care? You're making an assumption that I care. No, it's a subject to make a video about, and it's very interesting that somebody who was held to such high esteem in the MGTOW community has essentially become a hypocrite, and he is actually doing what he preaches against. So I thought the irony of it was very entertaining and a most cogent subject to study, especially considering the name of my channel. If you don't understand that, you're even dumber than I thought, which is pretty dumb. Most, if not all of you cunts, used to be white knights for women. Not anymore. Don't kid yourself. Bill may be doubt, but so were most men in MGTOW. What? Get real. Why don't you get real and learn how to write? Holy shit. Next comment. Kelp Daddy. And Bill Burr thinks MGTOW's a joke. You MGTOW pussies need to grow a pair. I got a big pair, buddy. I got such a big pair I can't cross my legs. How's that for a big pair? Jesus Christ, you idiots act more like females than actual females. That wouldn't be surprising if you're talking about manginas and cucks because they've been raised by women and had no men in their lives. Of course, speaking out against matriarchy and against women so that men will stop empowering them so we can get away from them. That's not being a female. If anything, that's the exact opposite. Oh, you don't see that. Oh, well, that's probably because you signed up for the bad deal that we opted out of, and now you want to shame us into accepting the bad business deal that you were stupid enough to sign up for. I see, Kelp Daddy, I see. Next comment from Kyle Bunk. Well, let's hope that what you say is not bunk. And Bill Burr thinks MGTOW is a joke. Bill Burr's right. MGTOW is really gay. I got fucked around lots by women, but it made me a stronger person. Made me stronger, too. I walked away from him. What did you do? Anyone who just wants to run away from women is a bitch. Oh! So you wanted to be like, stay very close to your abuser and let her use so that she could essentially have better access to your wallet and your resources and be more able to use you and make you the indebted servant that you are. I see. I would never prescribe getting married, but you probably are. But I would never suggest cowering for women either. What's cowering? Cowering would be like they're in the same room with me and I'm like in a fetal position in the corner in fear of her. No, I'm just not in the room with her. If I was in the room with a woman, I wouldn't be cowering. I'd tell the bitch to make me a fucking sandwich. But since I'm not, and she wouldn't make a sandwich anyway, because she's just fucking liberated cunt who won't do anything for me, no matter how much I do for her, I decided to walk away and not cower like a pussy, like it sounds like you're doing with your woman, which she isn't really yours, you're hers. Do you see the difference, pal? Women are great. For sex, I agree. You just need to learn real social skills. Yeah, and not be a wuss geek. Oh, you're not a wuss geek. You're a big tough guy who is trying to validate his decision by telling yourself that you are a big, tough, socially skilled, strong, non-geek because you made the decision to stay with women who use you for your resources. Hey, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Time for you MGTOW fucks to pull up your pants and be a man. I love it. There's the be a man up stuff again. Well, why don't you get your woman to woman up and go make you a sandwich? I doubt she would. So what a pussy you are for allowing that. Next comment from a Hiram Abif. Okay. Men owe it to society to get married. I'm glad somebody is reading my comments. Okay. Quit blaming women. If a woman Taking half is the difference between winning and losing. You already lost. At the very least, you can blame them for your utter failure to acquire any substantial assets. Huh? What? What are you talking about? It sounds like he's saying that I'm complaining because I didn't have more for her to take. What? So you're saying if I have like $1 billion, I would be more happy because she took 500 million, and if I have 100,000, she took 50,000. What the fuck are you smoking? That doesn't make any sense. What is this guy talking about? If I had $1 billion, I'd certainly be more unhappy with some bitch taking $500 million. I mean, I would be equally unhappy. It wouldn't matter. If I had $1 billion, I had $100,000. I would be just as unhappy. How would I be less unhappy if I had $1 billion? But that doesn't make any sense. Also, it has nothing to do with society. It's more so you don't die alone at the end of your life. We all die alone. We all die alone, pudding brain. Don't you get it? You can't take anybody with you. And even if you killed somebody right before you died, you'd still be dying alone. What, do you think there's somebody in that shell with you? Do you think there's somebody in that body cohabitating it with you that's going to go with you into the black realms of death and the unknown? No, you're a fucking moron. Next comment from a Tristan Smith. Okay, let's see what Tristan has to say. Is your channel only about the wall? My video about the men hit their own wall. And she has another comment. Again, you're an idiot. And then she says, I'm an idiot again. You're an idiot. So if you look at Tristan, and I've looked at her picture, she has green, yellow, purple, blue hair. Is a big, fat looking goblin. And she's what I would imagine a troll would look like if they were living under a bridge. So it's not difficult to figure out what she is. Radical feminist, and has no man and couldn't get a man for her life. That's it. That's all the comments we have for this week. I hope you have enjoyed these stupid negative comments from people to me. I certainly did. This is the MGTOW Philosopher, and I wish you a good day or night or whatever the hell it is where you are. Take care.